Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Cambodia Day, and according to the poll that I did, our next topic today is what are the real expenses of living in Cambodia? So that's what we'll be talking about. And what I've done is I've opened an Excel sheet in Google Drive. So actually it's a Google sheet, but same thing. I'm not super handy with Excel. I know some people can do like amazing things with Excel, but I'm just going to be using it kind of as a grid, okay, for us to write down all the expenses. Let me see if I can make that. Looks like I didn't do my eyeshadow very well. Oh, well, it is what it is. And so, yeah, let's look at monthly expenses, annual expenses, surprise expenses. And I'm sorry if you hear that screeching. That is the cat trying to get out. And I can ignore him and maybe he'll stop. Or I can get up and leave the screen for just a moment and put him outside the room. Let's see if he stops. Okay. If he doesn't, then I'll have to do the sin of leaving the screen for a moment. Okay. Maybe I should cover up the microphone. For anyone who has never experienced a chalkboard, and you hear the expression nails on a chalkboard, that is exactly what this sounds. Oh, he came out of the window. Okay, just a second. I'm going to toss him out. Come here, Cassie. By the way, this is Cassie, the one making all the noise. Okay, but as far as Piggy and Baby, they're both settled down, so we shouldn't have any problems from them. So let's get started. Let me show you. So this is what we'll do, and we'll fill it in together. What I've got is I've got some notes here, and okay, so rent. Most people's rent can be anywhere from $200 a month on up. Okay. A really nice condo or maybe 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you might pay $400, $350, $400, up to $500. And I pay, there we go, $750 a month, because I live in a house, which they call a villa here in Cambodia. Mumsy says, thank you. Yeah, Mumsy's the one that said, don't get up and deal with the cats in the middle of the show. And I'm like, I think I need to get rid of this cat. So I got to thank you. Yeah, that was worth getting up for. All right. Electric. If you do not use any air conditioning, we call it aircon out here. If you do not use any aircon, my electric bill for the whole house is about $25 to $30 a month. If I use aircon, it's just me, it's about $75 a month. If I have other people in the house using aircon, it can be up to $200 a month. Or if you are a person that maybe doesn't have an energy efficient aircon, you have an older unit, and you're running it 24/7, because there are some people that are like that. So night and day, you think, okay, I'm going to leave the house and go shopping, or I'm going to go eat out or something, and I want it to be cold when I get back, so you just leave it on. You're looking at $200 a month electric. that's what you want to pay for that convenience, then go ahead. But I will tell you that the type of air conditioning units that we have here, it's not whole house. Okay. So it's on the wall, and it's going to blow out the air of whatever temperature setting you set it at. It will constantly blow out air at that setting. All right. There's no room thermostat, so that when you reach a particular temperature, whether you want it to get cold or whether you want it's winter and you want to get hot, and the room reaches that temperature, and then it shuts off for a little bit until it needs to come back on again to maintain that temperature, right? That doesn't exist. Okay. So whatever, when you turn it on, it's blowing air conditioned air and cold air. It helps if you have like an inverter thing. Your aircon is an inverter style that saves energy. And some also have a setting that you can put like an energy efficient 80%, 60% as well. So you still have the same temperature. It's all there in Celsius. Lindsay says more room AC. Yeah. The more rooms you have, the more AC. Yeah. There's usually one air conditioning unit for each room. So your living room, not the kitchen doesn't get one, but the living room might have one, and then each bedroom would have one. Okay, so I'm going to put my electric at 100. Next, water. So for water, water is really cheap. It is international standard when it leaves the treatment plant. Okay, they take water from the Mekong River, they treat it, and then they send it out throughout the city. When they test it at the treatment plant, it is international standard. All right. It depends on where you live and what the pipes are like getting to your house and then within your house. Okay. That then can affect the water that you're drinking. Most of the pipes are PVC. I mean, at least like within the houses are like a blue PVC. Is that are plastics or toxins from plastics going to leach into your water? I don't know. So a lot of people want to drink bottled water. Okay, so, but the water, you know what? I'm going to add water system or water tap. Okay, tap water is going to run you about $5 a month. Now, if you're renting an apartment, that $5 will probably be included. Your landlord will just pay for the water, and it's included in your rent. Okay, I live in a single family residence, so I pay my own water bill. It's a type of water, okay, and then most people will also get bottled water. And I'm not talking about the little ones that you drink bottled water. I'm talking about the big, what are they, 10 gallon water bottles, 15 gallon. I don't really remember the gallons, but you know, the big ones, right? And they've got a little spigot on them. So you pay a $5 deposit for that. Let's put this, let's make a note over here. Let's use this for notes. $5 deposit per bottle, because we're talking about what are the real costs. So you need to pay that cost when you first get it. You want to get 2 bottles. So like when one's empty, you open the new one and you replace the second one. If you're living in an apartment, that's probably what you're going to do. I have an upstairs and downstairs. So I want one downstairs and one upstairs and then the backup. So I want to have 3. But the refilling of them is like $1 to $1.25. And let's say you use 2 of those bottles per month, right? So that's $2.50. All of this is US dollars. Okay. Next, there's a garbage fee. The garbage collection fee, I don't remember exactly how much, but let's just say it's $5 per month. And that, if you're renting an apartment, will likely be included in your rent. You won't have to pay that yourself. Me, I have to pay it. Garbage. Gas. Now, so for gas, there's no system to run gas to the houses. What you do is you get a tank of gas, right? I think most people, so your stove is connected by a hose to this tank that sits in one of your cabinets. So I would say it's maybe $12 or $14 to exchange it, to get a new bottle. But that's about every 6 months. So that's not monthly. Six months. Let's go with 12 because we can divide that into 6 months easily. And so that would be $2 per month. Right. See what else we have under housing. How about the Wi-Fi? I pay $36 per month for my Wi-Fi. That's for 40 something megabytes per second. Is it, or 50? I don't know. But sometimes it's almost 100 megabytes per second. I could do a speed test right now, or propane. Yeah, it's like propane tanks. Yeah, Mumsy. It's a little bit different shape than the US propane tanks. Here, I'll share this. Now, they love to do this. Today Communication, that's the company that I get my Wi-Fi through. And then, so it's going to just go to Today Communication, back to Today Communication. Let's go ahead and see how fast that is. Yeah, see, it's almost 100. And I have Ethernet cable. So, and if you if you pay for 6 months or 1 year at a time, then all your installation and everything is free. Other companies aren't like that. Okay, so there you go. A real-time speed test, 92 to, download 92, upload 87. Now let's change the server to the US. San Francisco Comcast, all right? So if I got to connect to something outside, You know, the website that I'm going to is outside. Oh, look at 50, 60, which is what I'm paying for. Oh, it's up to 79.80. Oh, not bad. Not bad. I'm actually impressed. Yeah, the Ethernet cable helps. Oh, but the upload's not as fast. So my sound going through my microphone, going up to space to reach you, the upload's not as much. So there you go. Let me come back over here. Wi-Fi 36 per month. Let me actually cross some of these off. I didn't even write all these on my list. Gas, Wi-Fi, telephone. I mean, we used to have landlines, so your phone would be part of your housing in that sense. Even though they're not landlines anymore, let's go ahead and put the phone here. So I am you can get a plan, you know, for like $6 a month. But let's just let's move this up to $10. You know, it's actually kind of a SIM top up. Whoops. SIM top up. Hi, Mama Kitty. Promo plans. So, you know, whoops. There's Mama Kitty. Say hello, Mama Kitty. Go on. Then you can just do this right through your phone. I mean, your bank apps. So when you open a bank account in Cambodia, which some people don't do, but I prefer to do it. But and then all your payments are going directly through the phone app by scanning QR codes. And so all the phone companies are linked up with all the banks, so you can go in and like directly top up your phone through your bank app. Let's close that. All right. If we think of another one, or ask me if you think there's something that I missed. I mean, maybe repairs. Should we put repairs? Like changing light bulbs. I mean, even if you're renting, you're going to change light bulbs and stuff like that. Unexpected costs as necessary. All right. But there's not a monthly amount for that. Transportation. So I have a motorcycle, scooter. They call it a moto here, so I'm just going to write moto. And then I can put parentheses, scooter. It's automatic and everything. It's got some power. It's pretty good. So let's put the new purchase was about $1,300, maybe 15, maybe 12. I don't exactly remember. So the gas that I put in my motorcycle is about $2.50 a week. So about $10 a month. I'm going to say maintenance rather than repairs. An oil change and stuff from the service from the actual dealership. I have a Suzuki, and I go to the Suzuki dealership, and they don't charge you any labor. They just charge you for the parts. So that's about $5. Oh my gosh, the dogs are barking. Every 6 months. Now repairs, you know, I'm gonna like copy this one. Copy. Paste. It's unexpected cost is necessary. But like I went in for like a really big service after like 8 years, and the brakes lasted me for like 8 years, and they had to change the brakes and they changed the tires, and I don't know, they like kind of opened up the engine and like changed a seal or something. I don't know. But all said and done, that was $75 for everything. New tires, I mean, I had somebody try to steal my motorcycle once, and they kind of like busted up the ignition. And so they changed the ignition and they checked all the wiring and everything. It was maybe $20 or something. It's really, really cheap to maintain your motorcycle. Now, what if you need to go somewhere like you don't want to be in a motorcycle, you want to be in a tuk-tuk. So what would your tuk-tuk costs be? You're going to spend $2 or $3 each way of going someplace. So are you going to go one place every day? You can go 2 places every day. You're going to go stay at home, walk around your neighborhood, and get a tuk-tuk 2 or 3 times a week. One round trip, it's going to cost you about $5 to $6. If you ride in a tuk-tuk once every day, 5 times 30, $150 a month. Okay. When I'm looking over here, I'm checking the mess. I've got my phone to be able to see the chat. So I'm checking the chat. If you want to take a taxi, a car taxi, you're looking at one round trip is going to be maybe $8 to $10 round trip. It's going to cost you $3 to $4, maybe $5, depending on where you're going. Okay. I'm not going to put a bus here. There are public buses, and it's like 50 cents to ride the bus. I guess I could put that. I guess I can put that. Public bus. .50 per trip. Okay. And then like, if you want to take a bus to Siem Reap or something, I'll put that like in weekend trips, for example. So that's transportation. So I'm looking at my list. What might be regular? We should get food in here. But I'll go. Regular costs that you might have. If you get a PO box, that's going to be annual, and that's going to be, I think they just raised it to $15 per year. I have life insurance. Well, life/emergency. Whoops. Insurance. This is going, of course, going to depend on your age and maybe a little bit of health questionnaire, but I did not have like a physical. But they might have asked me some general questions about my health. But I think pretty much it just went by age, and it's about $100 per year. Now, when I say emergency, that means like if I'm in an accident and I need to have a life flight to another country, they will cover that expense. Actually, I think it's like an emergency policy, but it includes life. So they pay like $10,000 or something, which is enough to handle your body after you die. Hey, Frugal's in the house. It's so expensive to live here. Yeah, I suspect your expenses in Siem Reap are a lot cheaper. Of course, having the motorcycle really makes a difference. Why is that like? Why didn't that like? There you go. If there's anything I'm leaving out, please mention it. Let's go ahead. Now you can actually get medical insurance. Let's do this. I'm going to write a medical plan. I don't have one, but I know that they exist, where you get a checkup every year that includes every test they can do. All right. And all the different hospitals, Central Hospital, where my friend Jessa works, which is where I was at before when I had to be admitted for about 2 nights, I think, 3 days, 2 nights. And Sunrise Japan Hospital, which is near my house. Excellent. Now that what I know, they both offer, I think it's about $100 a year. And then once a year you go in. So it's kind of like a membership, right? And so when you become like a member of this hospital, then you get certain services for free, such as annual medical exams. I mean, thorough. They check everything. All right. And then if you have a medical need outside of that, you get a discount because you're a member, right? Frugal says, oh, hey, Stargazer. Nice to see you. Thank you. And somebody named Adam. Adam. Hi, Adam. Sorry you're late. Oh, great to see you here. Frugal says, I just did my expenses for February, and you're going to be at $500 for the month. Yeah. So in Siem Reap, you can get a nice apartment for $120 a month. right? Okay. So the other thing, so in here, let's go ahead and put your glass. If you wear glasses, right? You need eye exams, or my friend Tammy had to get some eye surgery. I think it was like $150 or $200 per eye for cataract surgery. I think that's what she had. I think, or they actually replaced her lenses. Yeah, she was. I can't remember why. She had something going on with her vision, so she went and got it checked. And when she did, they said that, you know, they needed to replace her lenses. And so I think it was for both eyes, it was going to be about $300, something like that. I don't know. And there are really good eye doctors here. But I usually pay $40 per set of glasses. And so, and when you're buying the glasses, the exam's all included in the price. You just pay like the $40. You can get some frames for like $20 or a 2-for-1, right? So you're paying $40, but you're getting 2 frames with lenses. When I say frames, it includes the lenses. Yeah, so you want to keep that in mind as an expense. Maybe you don't need glasses yet, but you will. You know, something to, it's an expense that sometimes we're doing the budget and it's like $500 a month, but you're not necessarily breaking down all these other costs. Phone, the transportation. Your last pair of glasses was $12 for writing glasses, and it includes the exam. Yeah, you know. So there you go. You don't have to get 4. But when I get the glasses, I'll get one that's a sunglasses. So I have them add you can get the transitional lenses, but I like to have one pair that's just standard sunglasses, but to my prescription. And then also the one that doesn't have the shade has anti-glare. I like to get that on it. So I pay a little bit extra for those features. But still, I think probably compared to Mumsy, what's it cost in America for a pair of glasses these days? Because I don't know. What did we call this? Regular costs. Are you going to get clothes? Right? How often do you need to replace your underwear? I know Frugal is often buying T-shirts, just because he sees one that he likes. So he'll get another T-shirt. If you're going to go to a wedding, do you need to buy a dress or a new pair of shoes? Okay, so clothes as needed, but tailors are available. What? Too many A's in there. So you can actually get tailored suits and tailored dresses, or you have an idea of something that you want made, or you just show the tailors a picture and you pick out your fabric and they'll make it for you. Okay. And so I'll also mention you can get custom made shoes for maybe 30 to 50, depending on what style you want, for custom shoes. They'll measure your foot and then they've got all these samples, and you show them which one you want, and then they'll make them for you in a couple of days, and you go back and pick them up. So that's an interesting thing that you can have here. So before I get to let's do food. This should be capital here. Food. All right. Groceries. If you're cooking for yourself and you're buying meat and vegetables and pasta and bread and everything, if you're just sticking kind of local, I'd say I'm wondering if $50 a week is too much. Frugal, what did you spend on food? Oh, and you paid $2 to $5 per shirt. $150 on for glasses in the US. Frugal, oh yeah, the last pair of glasses. Yeah, absolutely. If you're buying a shirt in the market, it's gonna, yeah, $2 to $5 for sure. That's why I didn't want to put an amount, but it is something that you should consider, that when you're here, you are going to buy some clothes. Okay. Doesn't have to be a lot. Groceries, local. Because if you're just buying vegetables and meat and cooking, I'm thinking it might be less than $50 a week. Frugal hasn't said anything yet on the food. Let's say $20 per week. And if you're getting comfort food, you could spend $50 to $100 per week, not $5. I'm sorry. Whoops. $50 to $100 per week. If you're buying junk food, if you're buying, you really want, you're from Australia and you want Vegemite. Yeah, you can buy it, but it's going to cost a lot. You're from Scotland and you want haggis. Yes, there's tins of haggis. It's going to cost a lot. So depending on what you want, it's like mayonnaise. There's lots of varieties of mayonnaise, but if you want best food mayonnaise, it's going to cost more than the other mayonnaise, right? So yeah, you can get a lot here, but you're going to pay for it. Cheese and dairy is expensive. $5 a day, whether it's takeout or making it at home. Yeah. So $5 a day, 7 days a week, that's $35, right? So you spend $35 a week. So what else do we have? I'm going to say, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Street food. If you don't want to cook and all your meals are street food, I'd say you could get away with $3 to $4 per day. If you have 3 meals, if you have 3, your breakfast is going to be $1. Maybe your lunch will also be $1 or $1.25, and then your dinner is going to be like $2.50 to $3. Okay, it's going to be about $2.50. I'll let you do the math beyond that. Then the takeout delivery. Okay, wait, I know. Wait, let me put. Three meals. Takeout delivery is going to average you about $7 per meal. If you buy something for $5 or $5.50, you might have $1.50 delivery fee, which brings it up to $7. Right? A lot of meals are $7, $7 or $8, and then you end up paying $10 by the time it's delivered. But and you could get something that's $3 or $4 that ends up being $5 delivered. So that's why I'd say the average is $7. Yo, traveling fools in the house. Your wine costs you $20 a month. You get 4 liters for $11. Your girlfriend is the reason it's so high. I never had Bordeaux wine until I came to Cambodia. I love it. I love Bordeaux. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. If you're going to have beer, if you go to you can find places that it's 75 cents per beer or $1 per beer. Mid-range places, $1.50 to $2 per beer. If you just buy it at the grocery store or the drink shop, then it's going to be less than that. Or a case of beer at Macro, or the wine like you're talking about. The other thing I want to say is dining. So if you want to go to someplace like really nice, you can spend $20, let's say, to $50 per meal. And maybe once a week you want to treat yourself or something and spend $20 or $50. The vegetable markets are very reasonable. I don't eat meat from the wet markets yet. Still not ready for it. Oh, I do. I totally do. Okay. So I think that's it for your basic food expenses. We're going to get to the surprise things. We haven't got to the surprise things yet that will happen, that you will have to fork out money for. So you should be aware of it. Whether you have money set aside in some savings, it's for these things, or it just comes out of your monthly budget, whatever. We're going to get to the surprise things. Let's do entertainment. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Entertainment. So maybe you want to go to the movies. You pay what, $2? $2 to $3 standard at the regular cinemas. Okay. You can also, in a weekday, for $11 up to like $15 on a weekend, pay for the VIP. if I can't pay $11, I just don't go see the movie. I only go to the VIP in the big recliner chairs, and it includes food and everything. $250 weekdays, $350 weekends. Okay. 2.5 to 3.5. All right. Maybe you want to make some friends and have some fun. You want to go to quiz nights. Oops. This will generally be $3 to $5 for your entry fee. Plus, you're going to order drinks / food. Maybe you get an appetizer. Maybe you just plan having your dinner on the night of the quiz night. But it would be really rude to go to quiz night and just have water. Okay. But then they'll have a prize at the end. And you meet lots of new people with quiz nights. Oh, you know what? We missed one. I knew there was something we were missing. With these regular costs where we put the medical and stuff into, let's add a row below. And let's add dental. I don't know, a checkup is probably going to be like $20 if you go once a year and get your teeth cleaned and everything. It might even be less than that. But a crown, as in, I'm just going to write crown, but I'll tell you, like a porcelain crown that they do a mold and they fit it to you, is I think $150 for a crown. That includes the root canal and everything that they got to do. It's less than $200. So dental is really inexpensive, but you do want to, like, I have found like the perfect dentist who's been trained overseas. And he was trained by this German dentist that I had a friend of mine who was German, an expat that was German, not Bob, somebody different. And so she liked this guy. She found this guy because she was German and he was German. But it turns out he's been like teaching dentistry and everything forever. Well, he's passed away now. He was older. He was like older and retired, but he still had like a little dent, the dentist chair and everything in his house, like in a room in his house. So he would just like by appointment, by referral only, would take on, I'm thinking customers, patients. And so so I got referred to him, and then my dentist now was trained by this guy. And he was amazing. And so this guy's amazing too. All right. So that's dental. Cross that off. Life medical, phone, transportation, clothes. Okay. Entertainment, quiz nights. All the chambers of commerce have networking events. And they will usually charge $20 to $25 per event. And they will usually have a monthly event, but maybe you want to go to BritCham's event. BritCham is like British Chamber of Commerce, or AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce. Canada has one. The EU has one, EuroCham. And they each have one once a month. So it's like every week you could be going to a different networking event. And that's $100 a month, right? But if you're business minded, if you're not retired and you're business minded, and very entrepreneurial and everything, then you might want, this could be a business expense for you to go to networking events. Or if you just want to you don't want to meet sexpats or something, then going to a networking event like this, you're going to meet business-minded people. Maybe entertainment for you is sports. There are paddleball tournaments. There are teams that do, soccer, football. There's gyms and everything. You're looking $5 per day. If you're looking at a gym, you can get like a monthly thing for like $50 a month or something. I don't know. I'm going to add the word gyms here. Maybe entertainment for you is going to the spa. You can get a $10 massage, but quality, a really good quality one, is going to be $30 for an hour for a good massage. And I'm sure there's a lot more in the US. Is it cheapest to shop in the wet market for groceries? Absolutely. It's absolutely the cheapest to go to the wet market or the local market. Oh, you love my videos. Oh, Frugal. You love Frugal's videos. That's good. I do too. Okay. Sorry, I missed that earlier. Oops. I'll move that just a little bit. Okay. Well, we're going to lose the word entertainment. Maybe you like live music. You're not going to have an entry fee, but you're going to spend on your food and drinks, at least drinks, right? So I'd say minimum $5. Once a week, every night? How often do you want to go see live music? Now, this is kind of a surprise thing, but I'm going to put it in entertainment, and that is charity events. You will get invited to charity events. There's tons and all different kinds. So sometimes it is a choir event. Sometimes it is like an opera singer that's come from overseas or something. Could be a sport event. There's this women's, like a women's entrepreneurial group called WIG. I can't remember what it stands for. But they have a Christmas bazaar every year, which is huge, which means you're going to be spending, money at the bazaar, buying things from all the vendors, which is going for charity. So, and then like when we had the border conflict, everybody's either making cash donations or buying a case of water or a big bag of rice and giving it at these donation centers. So there's going to be charity things, and you might spend at least $10 and up probably at a charity event. Stargazer. There is a gym in your city that has a spa, pool, etc. for the same monthly price. Absolutely. You don't know the name. Sorry. Well, there's a lot of different ones, and most of the time your hotels, you can, maybe get pay a monthly membership to be at a hotel. but yeah, a lot of times at gym, if you just want free weights, $1 per day, $1 per day, open air, no air con, and it's just all the gym equipment. All right, $1 a day. But most gyms that are indoors, they're going to have a pool. They're going to have the sauna. They might have like a juice bar kind of thing. Yeah, pretty normal. No, get down. Doesn't include massages. Correct. But often, if it's a larger gym, the place. You might be thinking of the place. There's a gym called The Place, and it is multi-level. It's very premium, but you're probably going to pay a more premium price, not as much as the US, but compared to other, like the $1 a day gym, right? Sometimes they'll have like tennis and badminton and jacuzzis and a little restaurant. Yeah, but the place is a really big premium one. And then a friend of mine, she went to one on in Toolcork area. The pool is a must. Yes. Now, if that's your thing, right, fitness in general, you might want to consider getting an apartment in a condominium, because then every condominium has a fitness center and a pool and a spa and everything. Now, generally, like you're saying, the spas might be privately owned, a privately owned vendor within the condo. But your fitness center is probably going to at least have a sauna and the pool and everything. So you wouldn't have to pay a fee for a gym if you're living in a condo. Tennis courts, yeah, $50 a month, exactly. Yeah. Hey, squeeze the day! Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that, you guys are alive and kicking. I saw a recent video. I think you're on the East Coast. I hope you're staying warm. Yeah. Thanks everybody for helping share. It's cheaper and more convenient. If that's your thing, then you should choose a condo. It's really good to just stay in a guest house for like maybe your first month. If you're going to move to Cambodia, just pay a nightly. Well, and a guest house will even sometimes it's $10 a night, but they'll give you a month for $250 or something. So it's good to stay in a guest house until you kind of get the feel for what lifestyle you want to have, and then it's better for choosing where you should live before you do a 6-month or a 1-year lease. Okay, charity events. There will always be a charity events. So we've got the gym and the sports, the chamber events with networking, the post office box, the glasses. And also under entertainment, let's put museums. Museums are great to go to. Of course, Frugal likes to go to Angkor Wat, and Angkor Wat is actually called Angkor Archaeological Complex because there's hundreds of temples. I don't know, at least 75 or something. There's a lot of temples, and that once you've been here for a year, you get a free pass. Or is it a discounted pass? I think it was a free pass, right? I've been here 18 years. I've never had the free pass. But I don't go up there often anyway. But I think that's that kind of pass for foreigners is new since the last time I was up at Angkor. Cheaper, more convenient. Okay, yeah, that's the last comment. But in Phnom Penh, there's the Royal Palace, the National Museum. There's the Sosoro Museum, which is run by the National Bank, and it's about currency. But there's so much more about history, history traced by the currency that has been used and traded. So we know that there were Portuguese traders in Cambodia, because there's like a coin from 1400 or something, right? You know, it's like the amount of history that can be traced through currency is just amazing. It's an amazing museum. If you want to go to Wat Phnom, all of these are like, let's say $2 to $5. Tool slang is another one, $2 to $5 each. And so maybe once a week you want to go to a museum, or you have family or friends that are here visiting and they want to go, and so you want to go with them. And so you're going to have to fork out a couple bucks. Okay. Under entertainment, let's finish it up with weekend trips. Now, it can be a bus or a plane, your hotel, meals, etc. You could even go camping. But quite frequently, once you've made some friends, everyone's going, hey, let's go down to the island on the coast. Let's go up to Mondulkiri and see the elephants. I guess like attractions we should write. If you want to see the elephants, you got to pay, yeah. I'm going to go down to Bokor Mountain. Let's go check out Battambang. If you're being cheap, let's say your bus is $15. Your hotel, you can find a hotel for $10 a night, and you stay for 2 nights. That's $20. That's $35. Your meals, you're sticking to the between $2 to $5 per meal, but it's for 2 days. Maybe that's another. Maybe get away with $20. So, let's say, depending on where you stay and everything, maybe $50 to $100. Are you going to go on a trip every weekend? No. What if you go once a month or once every 3 months? That's a considerable chunk of your budget that you need to plan for, right? I heard it's free after 2 years. Well, Frugal has the pass. So Frugal can answer you about Angkor Wat. I think you have to have been here for 1 year. I don't know, Frugal, you answer them. Or go over to Frugal's channel. He is in the description below. And go to his channel, and he's got a video. He's got, I think, 2 videos. Because the day he went and applied for it, and then he had to go back. So there was a second video on when he picked it up. So he goes through the whole process. So that's weekend trips. All right. Time for the surprise. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Who can tell me what that's from? What TV show is that from? Surprise, surprise, surprise. I know. How many of you can guess it? How many of you remember that? Okay. Weddings and funerals. You will be invited to weddings and funerals. Even if it's just the coffee shop that you always go to, but you're super friendly with the staff is getting married, they're going to invite you to their wedding. And there's a wedding season. You will get invited to weddings. When somebody dies and there's a funeral, you will get invited to the funeral. Now, what are your costs? Well, you're going to have transportation to get there. It may be in the town where you are, but it might be outside of town or in one of the provinces. So you're going to need transportation. Either way, either it's just a tuk-tuk ride or it's a bus ride. Okay. You need to give money as a gift. Every invitation includes an envelope. The envelope is not just like an RSVP. The envelope is for you to put money inside. Some really, really rich weddings, they put keys to cars or keys to houses in the little envelopes. Now, I don't think you're going to go that far, but I would say minimum $10. It would be rude. It would be kind of rude to, if you don't have $10, tell them, sorry, I can't go. All right. Maybe you want to put a $20 bill or, in Tammy, Tammy's channel is Don't Know Where I'm Going Next. In her chat, she had one guy asking, could I live on $3,000 a month in Cambodia? I'm thinking, oh my God. If you've got $3,000 a month, well, when you go to a wedding, maybe you could drop $100, but as long as you give 10, that's good. You may need to get clothes. And if you're a woman, you may want to get some Cambodian clothes made from the tailor. Could be $40 to $50. You could just wear they are not going to hold you as a foreigner to any kind of like special standard that you need to dress like them or act like them. All right. You can just go wearing whatever and they're going to welcome you because you're bringing an envelope. What do I think of a hostel? Yes, Gomer Pyle. Thank you, Stargazer. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Gomer Pyle. Oh, Andy Griffith show. Close. So close. Yes, squeeze the day. Yeah, there are some hostels. There's not a lot. Also, night buses. I don't like night buses. I don't know how safe and secure the hostels are. Well, okay. Let me take that back. There are some well-branded hostels, like Mad Monkey is one. And I think that they've kind of like franchised, from Phnom Penh to also Siem Reap and maybe either Sahannagville or Kep or Kampot, someplace along the coast. They've Mad Monkey's reputable. And so they have your dorm style rooms, as well as private rooms. So that's one surprise. The other surprise is the Khmer holidays. In particular, they call it Ang Pao. Whoops. And that is a red envelope that the adults give the children, okay, with some money. Now, this could be $1. It could be, a 10,000 real note is $2.50. But if you've got a lot of kids that, your Cambodian friends have kids, or your neighbors. Sometimes it's because it's your neighborhood, and you don't have to participate. No, you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm warning you that when you're here, if you are really adapting to the culture, you're going to want to. You want to participate. It makes you feel good. It's like Christmas for kids. You know, we want to make kids happy at Christmas time. We want to make it magical. Well, for them, it's the Ang Pao envelopes, and they happen at Chinese New Year and Khmer New Year, and maybe at Phnom Penh you can also give them if you want. So, and, you know, water festival, not so much, but you probably could. They would be happy. So let's say $1 to $10 each envelope. Okay. So that's an expense that you don't normally think of. So it's kind of a surprise event. They have female dorms. Yeah, if it's a hostel, they normally have male and female dorms, and then they, at a minimum, and then they might have a co-ed dorm. But I don't think that they want any kind of liability with that. So I think most dorms have male and female. Most hostels have male and female dorms. The last thing that I want to, that you maybe forget about, right? Because they're based on, maybe you still have your US, I want to say internet, but not like your internet service, but services you have that are online. Okay. So for example, domain renewals. These always hit me every time they come up. It doesn't matter when it's time for the domain to renew. It's always a bad time. Domain renewals. Let me see, what else do I have? I also have, in my case, GoDaddy is my, like, the website plus, not minus, plus email fee. Hosting, right? Hosting. All right. I have Netflix. And in Cambodia, that's $3.99 a month. I have to pay my Microsoft licensing. And if you, or Apple, right? Don't you still have to pay an Apple licensing fee? And that's $9.99 a month. I pay for Streamlab for my live streams. These are all the automatic things that are set up, right? That is $9 even. And my VPN. No, I use NordVPN. It's $14.29 a month. Maybe you have one of those eSIM services. Because I don't know. So that's it. That's everything. Oops. Well, why does that? Oh, why is enter? There you go. Any final word? That I got nothing else. These are all the things. I've been through them. You can watch them from the beginning. I explain each kind of thing, and if there's something I missed that you pay on a regular basis, whether it's daily, monthly, annually, then put it in the comments. Let me know. You know what it is, but that's what I deal with on a regular basis, pretty much. If you watch Idaho 4, or not watch, it's not like it's a show, but if you are into true crime and the Idaho 4 case, yeah, Dylan Mortensen says pretty much a lot when she speaks. Kind of like when I was young and I'd say like, you know, every fifth word. So pretty much. It has its uses. Yeah, so we're just over an hour. Before anyone runs away, let me please remind you that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you are listening, I love you. And thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I might have missed something. Adam says, lots of interesting info. Thanks so much. Really helping me plan my budget for when I arrive. Oh my gosh. Huge. Wait, we got to get back on here. Housing, no, we need regular costs. Oh my gosh. Regular costs. Let's put it like the first one. We're going to add a row below here. Your passport renewal. Okay, when your passport renewal as needed, U.S. passport is around $150 to get a new one, more or less. And let's add one more row below. Visa. You need a visa. Oh my, how did I miss this one? It's basically $30 per month. And so you can get 6 months. I think the place I go to is $178 per month. And then you can, but so maybe it's about $325 for a year, I think. But you got to be ready for that. Whether you do 6 months or a year, I recommend those because then you get multiple entry. So if you need to travel, you can come back in without having to get a visa because you already have a visa. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you for your comment, Adam, because when you said when I arrive, the arrival, let me, thank you so much because that's sparked that a very important expense. Yeah. And so what you're going to do is when you arrive, do not get a tourist visa. You only have two options, tourist visa and the other visa. It could be called a business visa. The stamp inside is letter E, which is confusing. It's not e-visa like email, all right, but it's type E. And sometimes it's called a business visa. There's some other names, right? But there's only two. There's tourist and the other one. You need to get the other one when you arrive. It will only be for 30 days. And if you get a tourist visa, you can renew a tourist visa for an additional 30 days, but you cannot change it from a tourist visa to a business visa. Okay. You can pay a lot to somebody and they'll do it. All right. But you're going to pay a lot. All right. And they're not supposed to. So who knows? I mean, I think Cambodia is trying to crack down on corruption and things. So you might not be able to find anybody to do that. If you have a tourist visa, you need to go out of the country and come back in and get the correct visa, right? Again, when you come in, it will only be for 30 days. So here's a couple of things you need to understand. You come in with the 30-day visa, and then when you renew it, you can renew it for another 30 days, or for basically 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Or you can get multiple years. You can pay for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You just pay the money. Now, 55 is the age where you can get a retirement visa. All right. So, and that you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to show anything. Get that out of your brain. There's none of that stuff here in Cambodia. They look at your passport and your date of birth. And if you're 55, calling it a business visa and called it an ordinary visa, but it's a type E, right? Anyway. So you have to get the ordinary visa. You cannot get a retirement visa, and you have to get a work permit. And the work permit is, I don't know, $300 a year, $150 a year. So you're going to have your visa. If you're under 55, you will need to pay for a work permit in addition to your visa cost. Okay. And the work permit only goes from January 1st to December 31st. Okay. So if you come in June or July, you would have to pay $300 for 6 months or 5 months. But you just have to eat it, but it's something to consider. And depending on if you actually get a job with a company, schools don't do it. Schools aren't going to pay your visa. Schools aren't, unless you're like at a university professor level, teaching like at least a master's degree or higher. Then you have some negotiation. You might get them to pay for your visa and your work permit. All right. When I worked for Khmer Times, they paid for the work permit and the visa. When I worked for Mango Tango Asia marketing agency, they paid for my passport, not the passport, but the visa and the work permit. They covered it. It didn't matter what day I started working with them, they paid it. Okay. And they took care of it. You just give them your passport. It takes about a week or so. And then they give it back and then you get a card for your work visa. You're writing all this down. Okay, good. So that's pretty much that. So when you get a retirement visa, if you're old enough for that and you get a retirement visa, you cannot work for a company that is obeying the labor law, right? There's plenty of cash kind of under the table type jobs where you can work, or just kind of like freelance. Technically, like let's say you're a YouTube content creator and that's your job. If you are under 55, you're going to have to, they're not going to, okay, I'll tell you a nightmare that I had. I had to keep doing visa runs. I could only, because they won't renew. They'll give you one renewal. If you are not of retirement age, that you say you're in your 30s or your 40s, right? they will give you one renewal, and then you have to leave the country if you did not get that one renewal. Is to give you time to get the work permit. So if you don't have the work permit at the end of your renewal, so after 2 months, they will make you leave the country, and then you come back in with another 30 days. And then you can get one renewal. So after that 2 months, then you got to go out and do a visa run and come back in endlessly. And if you're the type of person that's going to be traveling, and that's not an inconvenience for you, fine. But I'll tell you what it does do, or well, at the time, they would take up an entire, they didn't do the stamps anymore. They did a sticker on your whole page. So they were taking up, every time I was doing that, they were taking up a whole page. Let me show you what it is now. It's new. They do a little QR code sticker now. Nah, sorry. I put my passport away in my filing cabinet, which is outside of the room. So I'm not going to run and get it. But it's just a little sticker. It's a little sticker with a square with a QR code, and that's all it takes up on your passport now. Writing all this down. Okay, yeah. Why am I looking at the phone? It's right in front of me. It's time for me to end. So good. I'm glad that this was helpful information. If there's any additional questions you have, write them in the comments. And I'm not overwhelmed with comments. I generally see them pretty quick and respond to everybody. So even people that like diss on me, do people still say that? Does that show that I'm a Gen Z, to use the word diss? I had somebody saying, "You're so rude. You didn't look at the person that you were interviewing." And it's like, and I explained, I said, "Well, thank you so much for your feedback," or whatever. I said, but it was kind of hard because he was actually sitting behind me, right? So if I was looking at him, this is what you would see. Oh, wow. Yeah. Because he was behind me. Duh. In and out of service. Total cost. Oh, wait, for what kind of service? Of visas? Sorry, traveling fools. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Or are you talking about the entire budget? Because I'm not a big Excel person, and I know that you can like make it add up things for you, but I don't know how to do that. So maybe if somebody wants to, if somebody loves math, I mean, everybody can see the comments, right? So if somebody wants to watch the show and do their own spreadsheet or whatever, and make note, and then some, because some of the things I just put as like annual things or per day or whatever, and you want to make it into a monthly amount so that the monthly column has an amount for each one. And of course, my rent's $750. All right. Frugal's rent is $120. Did you say so? Like $150 even? That's going to make a huge difference on the budget, right? Driving. Got it. You're in and out. Your service is in and out because you're driving, so you're not catching everything. Monty says it was a long show, but really informative. Thanks and hugs. Yeah. So I don't have a total amount. I don't want to even think of it. And like for me right now, I'm not going out on any entertainment. I'm not going out on any fine dining. If somebody asked me for a wedding, I'm probably not going to go if they asked me this month. I can't afford to go to a wedding right now. Things are really, really tight for me. But I'm surviving, and I've got a couple of new tutoring students coming in. So that's going to help, but probably not until next month. I'm going to cry. I don't get anything. I'm not monetized on YouTube. I don't get anything from YouTube, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I gotta live frugal right now. So with all that said, tomorrow, instead of a game, I think I'm going to go ahead and do true crime, because I do have some Idaho 4 thoughts. And it's more questions. It's the things that I'm stuck on that maybe we can work out together. So if you're interested in true crime, that'll be tomorrow. I'll set that up after I'm done here, so that way you can see the time zone, and you can click the notify me if you want to. So give it about 10-15 minutes and I'll have that set up, and then you can see that. Stating facts. Yep. And there's in the Idaho 4 case, there's a lot of that's the thing. We've got things that are facts, and then things that are stories, and only one thing is what really happened. And I really feel like the community as a whole, society, is close to finding out the truth, because if you get enough facts, then you can discover the one thing that happened. When you don't have facts, then it's like, well, it could be this, or it could be that, or what if it's this, or what if it's that? All we can do is make some educated guesses, but we don't know for sure. So yeah, we're going to have a discussion about Idaho 4 tomorrow, if you're interested. All right. So until then, catch you later. Enjoy the outro.